The section leader wants the elements of surprise and position on his side, so he makes use of cloud cover and stays in the sun as he gets set for an overhead attack. He parallels the course of the scout, coming out from behind a cloud in proper position to begin his run. Just as the Jap comes into view, the leader rolls over and down on him. With his leader out of range, the wingman follows in. As the leader closes the range, he takes careful aim to hit the starboard engine and opens fire. He breaks away to the left. With beautiful timing, the wingman reaches firing range, opens fire, and breaks away to the right. Now the section has placed itself in position to bracket for a new attack. But no second attack is necessary. It's a quick kill.
Scarlet Base, this is Scarlet 1. Enemy shot down in flames. Request vector. Over.
Scarlet 1, this is Scarlet Base. Vector 235, out.
This section followed the rules, made no mistakes, took advantage of the sun and clouds, made an excellent choice of attack, didn't waste any time, and the enemy scout had no chance to spot the task force or radio a contact report. These gents did a nice piece of work, but that's only the end of round one. Now the radar picks up a second shadow, and another section is vectored out, this time on a southwest course to intercept it. And it's the same story. Get the snooper before he spots the task force and radios a warning to his base. But right off the bat, this section finds itself in for a little trouble. The enemy has the advantage of being between the fighters and the sun. There are scattered cloud formations that will give the Jap a chance to take cover. However, these boys are on the ball. An advantage and no advantage. They're out to knock down this snooper. As soon as they get on the course, they complete their checkoff lists. The fighter director reports the enemy scout at 8,000 feet, so they climb 2,000 feet above him, just under the oxygen level.
Tally-ho, one painted Thach. This is Scarlet 3, over.
This one is a highly maneuverable carrier-based scout bomber. Fixed guns forward and a free gun aft. The Jap, who has visibility advantage in his favor, spots the fighters. Wasting no time at all, the snooper turns sharply and hightails it for the nearest cloud. The section leader makes an opposite course overhead approach to get the enemy before he can take cloud cover. As he goes into his dive, the Jap keeps a close watch on him. Firing position, the Jap free gunner lets go with the burst. He's hit by the fighter, but he doesn't come apart. The leader continues on down in his dive and levels off to fly along the lower edge of the cloud bank. The wingman stays on top. If the fighters had radar, they could bore right into the cloud after their target. As it is, they know that if they can keep the Jap on a relatively straight course, they'll get him when he runs out of cloud. So the leader stays below and to the side of the cloud bank, while the wingman, on the same side, flies above and behind. As every smart fighter pilot knows, they must keep each other constantly in sight in order to box the Jap in from above and below. Because their lines of vision intersect at a point beyond the cloud, they'll spot the enemy if he should break cover on the far side. If the Jap had been lucky enough to duck into a big cloud, he could have circled and stayed there all day. But these are scattered clouds and aren't large enough for the Jap to maneuver. So by putting the squeeze on him from above and below, the fighters make him hold his course. He's out, diving toward the water.
Scarlet 4 from Scarlet 3, mattress.
There's a great temptation formation to go barreling on in. But even though the Jap has had time to report carrier-based planes, he hasn't sighted the task force. So there's no need to risk a stern approach and give the Jap pre-gunner a pot shot. This Jap is smart. He knows that if he stays within a couple of 100 feet of the surface, the fighters can't make overheads or high side runs on him because they won't have enough airspace to pull out. But the section is smart too. They bracket the Jap for a flat side approach. The leader starts his run while the wingman stands by to go in from the opposite side. Just as the leader comes into firing position, the Jap noses down and turns toward him sharply, crossing him up on his lead. The leader has to break off to keep from hitting the water. And seeing this, the wingman swings smartly to the opposite side of the target, out of range of the gunner, and the Jap is still bracketed. The Jap saved himself on the first pass, but now the team is in better position than before, because the Jap is too close to the water to pull the same trick again. The wingman makes a run to draw the fire of the pre-gunner, who doesn't know whether this is only a feint or the old 1-2 knockout punch. Timing his run to begin when the wingman is about halfway to the target, the leader starts a flat side approach. The Jap is on the spot. He can't repeat his nose down turn. He pulls up into a steep climb. But the fighter holds his lead. And that's the end of shad number 2. All the breaks were against these fighters. They had the sun in their eyes, and the enemy had cloud cover. But by using their heads and sticking to the rules, they squeezed and jockeyed the Jap into a position where his next move had to be a wrong move. And in this case, his last move. But before this section had returned to the carrier, the radar picks up a third snooper, and another section is vectored out to intercept. The first 2 sections did a swell job, but it won't mean a thing unless the third section comes through. The leader of this third section is Lieutenant Lugg, and his wingman is Ensign Hazy. Looking for your wingman, Lieutenant? There he is, out of position, lagging way behind, fat, dumb, and happy. Lugg knows this isn't a very good fighting formation, so he zooms, signaling Hazy to come up into position. Hazy sees the signal, but he adds only a pee-wee amount of throttle and doesn't close up fast enough.
Scarlet 6, this is Scarlet 5. What's the matter? Having engine trouble?
Having engine trouble? Oh, no. Everything's okay.
Well, then close up.
Okay.
That's great. Your program is coming in fine, and you have a very interested audience.
Scarlet 5, this is Scarlet Base. Correct your vector.
Scarlet Base, this is Scarlet 5. What is the vector?
Vector 060.
Hazy has overshot in closing up and is flying in a kind of sandwich formation above his leader, so he doesn't see the turn. Come on, Hazy, get back into position. Meanwhile, the Jap, grateful to this information bureau, changes his course. But even though he's in the fighter's range of vision, Lugg and Hazy don't see him, and good reason. Ensign Hazy is keeping proper lookout to starboard, but Lugg is looking to starboard too. As a result, they miss the Jap in the 180 degrees of horizon on the port side.
Port, sir. Fighter's still going out, sir.
They've missed him.
How the hell could they miss him?
Damned if I know, but they did. Scarlet 5.